Hello, first squad. This will be our squad brief for Lab 8, which will be a platoon raid. So, kind of some key points before we get into how we conduct a platoon raid. Just some kind of key points of how a raid works. With a raid, speed and surprise is very important. It will pretty much determine how smooth your raid goes. With a raid, you may also need to breach an obstacle, whether that's a fence, barbed wire, a wall, anything like that. And then also kind of the key thing that separates a platoon raid from a platoon attack is the withdrawal plan. A raid has a withdrawal plan while an attack usually does not. Alrighty, so just like last lab, we'll start off with a patrol base, run through our troop leading procedures, receive the mission, all of that, disseminate information, and conduct our movement, and then we'll move into an RRP. So at the start of our lab will be pretty much the same as last lab, nothing different, same as all the labs we've been doing recently. So start off with a patrol base, issue a warno, devise our plan, make our TMK, and then disseminate our mission, and then move out to our mission, which will then move into an ORP and get ready for our leaders recon. Alrighty, so now that we have moved to our ORP, which is off the objective by quite a bit, we will then get ready to conduct our leaders recon as we have been doing in the lab. Same people for our leaders recon, all squad leaders, PL, RTO, FO, if there is one, in the security squad, and then your SNO team. So then with the raid, kind of same thing that we've been doing. Leaders recon will move out, set up our SNO and rally point, SNO, rally point. So this is where we're leaving our SNO team. It's two people looking towards the objective, and then if the PL decides to bring a team leader, one person looking back towards the ORP for security. Then our PL will conduct his leader's recon, so go over, get eyes on the objective, see kind of what he wants. During this time, he could also set up target reference points. So in this case, we could just say he sets up, this is building 1, 2, 3. These are our target reference points. Also looking for any obstacles in the way of their raid. So in this case, we'll just call this barbed wire. So we'll just go BW. So barbed wire. So in this case, there's barbed wire surrounding our area. So once the PL decides to gather all of his info, figure out where he kind of wants to put everyone, he'll go back and So he'll go and he will set up his security first. So because he's already got his unit. So in this case, if I was PL, I'm looking at where the objective is, and it's on this T intersection. Obviously, it doesn't always have objective's not always going to be there, but just for this sake, that is where it is. And I would set up my security along this road in case QRF comes and tries to stop our raid. So I would set up Fire Team 1, so Sec 1, looking this way to make sure no one's coming up from up top, and then set up our secondary security, looking down, once again, just to stop any QRF coming from the road, right? So, and they can also inform the PL, hey, let's just say our PL goes back to the RP, and now with our security set up here, they can be like, hey, there's a truck coming full of dudes, right? Maybe we don't want to do this anymore. Or, hey, there's some troops leading. There's less people on the objective. So just able to relay important info. So then once that leader's recon is done, PL will go back, go through the rally point, SNL, go to the ORP, and then inform the PL or the PSG, hey, nothing's changed, or some massive has changed to our plan, and we need to rethink this. So once they do that, then our PL and the PSG takes everyone from the ORP, because usually during our labs, we usually get notional ruck security. If not, then they'll leave a small team at the rucks but we're just going to go with the fact that, or the idea that we do get notional rug security. So then everyone goes to a rally point, and then they go to the spots that the PL has chosen for each unit. So let's just say that during the leaders recon, there's like, I don't know, like a hill right here, like a good vantage point that pretty much can show, has a visual over the entire objective. So then the PL is like, hey, yo, let's have our weapon squad. So we'll just go like, so this is going to be weapons squad. So I have our weapons squad up here, right? We're making sure that they know their target reference points, so they have this to shift fire for our assaulting units. And then in this case, we'll just have our assaulting units. Let's get this back a little bit. Our assaulting units kind of right here. So we'll call this AS2 and AS1. So, and the PL is chilling down with AS1 and 2 while the PSG is up with weapon squad. So, now that we're all kind of set up for our raid, right? Everyone's in their place. We have our security set up, weapon squad on a good advantage point to lay down suppressing fire or support by fire, and then we have our AS1 and 2 who will be assaulting through the objective. So, then now that we're all set up, we initiate the raid. More than likely, how we've been doing it and how we're probably going to do this lab is support by fire. So our weapon squad are going to open up. So pew pew pew, pew pew pew, right? So they're shooting. And in this case, we could have like, hey, this is gun 1. It's focusing on target reference point 3. So pew. And then gun 2 is focusing on like 1, right? So they're shooting. Their suppressing goal is to kind of, kill everyone or at least close to everyone in our objective. So once we do that, in a typical raid, we would also have a breach. I'm going to go over how the breaching works, but we were told in the trainers meeting that we probably won't really go through the breach. We'll kind of be like, oh, you breached the objective, like go in and do your stuff. So with a breach, we kind of go through the what's called SORA, SOSRA. So we have our breach team designated, and so we start firing. Which is the first S, which is suppress, right? So we're suppressing the enemy, shooting, trying to kill as many of them as we can, while also suppressing, giving good cover. And then O is obscure. So once we have kind of determined that the enemy are suppressed, right? No one's going to really be trying to shoot or be able to shoot effectively. Our breach team would then obscure the breach point, right? So if we say this is our breach point, right? Okay, we have weapon squad shooting. We have assault 1 and 2 shooting. So we're suppressing kind of all the enemies in there, killing them. Then our breach team, right? Let's just say it's a piece of AS1. It's like maybe alpha team of assault 1. They move up to the breach point. Then they want to obscure the breach point. So probably the easiest way to do that is smoke, right? So they throw, right? So now the breach point is covered in smoke. Secures the enemy vision of the breaching team. Then secure just is that the breach team secures the breach point, right? So we got like our 4 dudes, right? They come up, they're laying down, they're making sure no enemies are running up on the breach point. They also will also start shooting into the objective to add to the suppression element. And then reduce, just destroy the obstacle. So in this case, we determine this as barbed wire. So more than likely, we could be using wire cutters. I guess if you want to get really crazy, you can just blow it up. But reducing the obstacle in your way, making that breach point for the teams. And then assault the objective. What it sounds like, AS1 and AS2 go through the breach point and assault through the objective. Now, like I said, From what it sounds like during the trainers meeting, we're probably not really doing breaching. It's probably going to be like there's barbed wire. We get set up, we start shooting, and it's like, okay, your breach team went through and they blew out this fat chunk of barbed wire, right? So you can assault through the objective now. So that's just kind of how we're going. So we'll just say that notionally our breach team went through. They snip, cut all the barbed wire out of the way to allow our assault 1 and 2 to go through, and then at this point it kind of runs as a traditional attack, right? So then we call shift fire. So then let's just say weapons 1 and 2 shift to building 2, right, to allow ASK 1 and ASK 2 to push up and through the objective, and then cease fire. So gun 1 and gun 2 stop shooting, and ASK 1 and ASK 2 end up at the top. So ASK 1 and ASK 2. So push through to get to the top. Okay. So now that they have determined that the objective is secure, at least there are no living threats left, I'll then go through actions on the objective. First half actions on the objective are the same as an attack, EPW, then aid and litter, and then you go to whatever your objective is. So in this case, we're just kind of saying it's a demolition mission, right? There's this right here. This is a big old cache of weapons. All right. So the mission is to destroy this. So once we assault through, determine there's no EPWs, determine no casualties, we use our aid and litter team to pull out anyone who's hurt. Then we have our weapons. We send our demolition dude, someone with probably grenadier who's got grenades or maybe a thermite. Put it on our weapons cache, destroy the weapons cache. Then, kind of the part that makes it ready to raid is, we destroyed our objective, and now we need to pull off. So with that, we have a withdrawal plan, and from the kind of document we were shown during Train the Trainers, it'd be something like red. So withdrawal plan. So the first whistle or red would be the assault team's pulling out, and then the support by fire, and then finally demo and security. So kind of how we've been doing it every time. So assault 1, assault 2 would be like, okay, finished, come out, go back to the RP, then weapon squad, go back to the RP, and finally security would pull off and go to the RP. Let me just check. Sure, I covered everything. All right, so like I said, Ray, you want to get off the objective quick. Kind of like how we do an ambush, where we kind of really only want to be on the objective for about 7 to 10 minutes, right? Because then by then, QRF could be pulling up, and that's a really big problem. So just kind of do that. Everyone pulls back, ORP, and then everyone from the ORP, heads out back to the patrol base, or we just index. It kind of just depends on what's going on. So there you go. That's kind of the rough down and dirty on how to do a raid. Not too complicated, all things considered. Very PL dependent and METTC dependent. Just like I said in the last video, just use your noggins when you're doing your stuff, and everything should go just fine. If you have any questions, DM me. I'll respond to you as quick as I possibly can, get you that information you need, or the bare minimum, kind of where to find it, or direct you to someone who does know the question. So there you go. Code word is cool. Code word is cool. So DM me cool when you watch this video, and I'll pump out a quiz later tonight. All right. See you guys later.